was waiting, but my phone is up. They have cameras. And now he was coming this way. He changed his mind. I don't know what's happening here. He's doing it. Still. This is, and these obstacle courses. Oh, they removed it. I was about to show you what they had here. Right here, oh, it is still there. It's just blocked. Okay, let me show you.
Arriving, Orange Line, Train 2, Clark Park Station, 2 cars. For your safety, please stand back.
Okay, this area that I was railroaded to live in. Look at the crosswalk. Someone that has a fascination that has went under the radar with making someone struggle with bags, and years of premeditation of being homelessness and taking multiple cars went up under the radar, and the government so crooked they're blacklisting me from any legal representation to combat their crimes. Multiple people are waiting. So what they did was they, struggling with bags, premeditated that someone would, because someone's setting it up. And there was a crosswalk. Why is it so difficult to get through the crosswalk for this location I'm railroaded to live in? Okay, here's the route. You get off the train. It's difficult to get off the train. And you take this route to where they have premeditated. The one bear that used to go to Cocker Hill no longer goes to Cocker Hill. They schemed so I couldn't ride to Cocker Hill. It no longer goes there. And it used to catch it at the West End, which was convenient. Now it's inconvenient, and you got to catch it at another location. The 466 changed. The other locations where they used to scam, where I can't catch the buses at Northwest Highway, the buses no longer go there. That scam. The 466 used to go to the 467. It stopped. The South Central Patrol, as well as the police department on Jim Miller, have removed their bus stops in front of the police department. And I don't know any other locations what they have done. That's just the ones that I'm aware of. Then when I was walking down the street where my grandmother used to live, they removed a lot of bus stops in that area, forcing you to have to walk a great distance to get to the bus, leaving the police department. And that area my grandma used to live in. Okay, it's 8:23. It's supposed to come at 8:27. I have to have my phone up or they will leave. So in the video where I had the man in the video the other day where I said where I was bleeding, so I tried, they would leave me all the time, so I tried to catch the bus in front of witnesses. Okay, then when I started catching the bus in front of witnesses, they slammed the door in my face and drive off. This particular time, since they kept doing it, and I feel that like I said, I fear my life is in jeopardy. So she slammed it, and I was going to tried to hurry up and rush because I know they slammed the door, and she slammed it on me and caused me to bleed. The supervisor saw the blood. They refused to give me a Band-Aid. I was fighting for my life, homeless. I didn't have any kind of tissue, so blood was everywhere. They caught my hand in the door, and it was bleeding everywhere. They, like I said, denied me a Band-Aid, a napkin, or nothing, and I had to bleed all over the place with no napkins. So the supervisor took the report, and then the lady was lying on camera footage. They're supposed to have mics, and they wouldn't investigate that either. They wouldn't investigate a bus driver slamming her foot on the brakes, and it wasn't even at a bus stop, causing me to stumble and fall. They do it all the time on purpose, even on trains. So that's what you saw when I said it caused me, and I was bleeding. He saw the blood and still would not hold that bus driver accountable for slamming the door in my face. And like I said, another time they did it, I was all dressed up and fixed up pretty, a makeup day, and I was ready to go for the world. So I looked especially good that day. So he slammed the door in my face, and I was beating on the door because they kept doing it, and I'm desperate. So he pretended like he couldn't see me and drove off when I was leaning on the bus. Well, when I was leaning on the bus, I thought I was going to stumble and fall because I'm leaning on the bus and it started moving. And if I would have fell, I would have fell up under the bus and it would have killed me. I would have got ran over. So at that point, I knew it was dangerous. That should have been on camera footage, the misconduct, him closing the door, and almost caused me to fall. So I thought in my head, Lord, please help me, because if I stumble and fall, I'm going to die. I could see the way that he was parked, that I was going to fall up under the bus. And he was driving off on purpose, so I couldn't catch it. So when I saw that it was dangerous, these schemes, humans have errors when you're driving reckless and you have these cars coming at a bus on purpose, there's errors. And I have seen these gang stalkers have mistakes. There's been a lot of car accidents. I just don't think that it should be tolerable, such an extreme for such petty, to endanger lives for petty. So anyway, so I went to do the report. Lindsay was there because the police department's behind all this chaos and arrested me. And then they tortured me in jail. At Frank, they used to torture me. The torture campaign and have inmates mistreat me, the psychological abuse by inmates. They play with their feces and smear it all over the place while I'm in isolation day after day, multiple times a day. It have a stench with urine and feces. It smelled like a nursing home. In this part they gave me, they put me in a part that they said was for mentally ill people, and it was very abusive. They were loud all night. Sometimes they strip off their clothes, a multitude of people, and masturbate, stand up, look at me and masturbate, and staff would let them do it, and that was against the policy. They said that they can't do anything. It was a special part for mentally ill people. They have their selected food. They deny me medical treatment, library, regular library, and church. They would play games with tissue and feminine hygiene products, wouldn't let me go to court. They were very abusive with on clothing change. They give me dirty clothes. One time with clothing change, they had me stripped from all my clothes, staged an argument, and I just had on bra and panties, and it was freezing. They have it especially cold, torturing all women, even in the winter. Play games with blankets. One time they gave me a blanket that was cut, so I wouldn't be, and then play games with giving me replacements. The towels, they would be filthy, and that would be the towels they give me. They play games to where I couldn't have socks. Then they put my food in dirty trays. Sometimes it wasn't even edible because it was so filthy. So they wouldn't give me the clothes. They played games and staged an argument, so I just had my bra and panties on, and it was freezing. They wouldn't clean. They stopped the cleaning process when I was in jail. So they played games with rec and deprived me of rec, and that's a crime a multitude of times. Just completely unaddressed. Here's the bus right here. I have to have my phone up to catch it. Oh, it's not the one. Let me check the time. It's 8:28. Okay, the bus is supposed to come at 8:27. 8:27. But like I said, I was at a bus stop fleeing for my life, and they didn't come for 3 or 4 hours. And then, like I said, they just, the extreme amount of power abuse. They stage an evacuation from a school, putting all these other kids, forcing them to leave, miss class, like a task, shutting down that school for whatever mysterious thing happened then. I just, want you to know, while these conspirators, I've given a lot of people my YouTube channel, I just want you to know what you're a part of. So since there's so many parties working against me, I'm fighting for my life. I'm waiting on the bus. It's not here. And this has been a pattern. If it's not the bus not here, it's the train that's not here, it's the police department and it's interrupting, it's security putting me out. But like I said, it's not a rant. I just want you to be educated on my experience. I said I was going to minimize the ranting. I'm growing. So I don't know if you see the dates, but Salvation Army, the police was on a train trying to put me off when someone wasn't corrupt set me up for shelter at the Salvation Army. They gave people, not Salvation, at the convention center. So the convention center was supposed to help homeless people, but all those police and marshals were guarding it, keeping me from services. So they would guard and make sure that I only spoke with corrupt people that would lie and keep me from shelter during a pandemic, afraid for my life. So this one lady that wasn't corrupt, that's why I'm so heavily guarded, set me up for shelter at the Salvation Army. I got on the train, the police got on there trying to keep me from shelter because I had an appointment and I was fighting for my life, so these appointments are critical. So the police will come on there and interrupt. So I started recording the police. So then they set up for Salvation Army Avis to lie and say that I wasn't on the list. Salvation Army, when I was fleeing for my life, afraid, hospital said that they set up shelter there, and Salvation Army said that I wasn't on the list about 3 times, forcing me to remain homeless. I'm recording now, but no, in the past they wouldn't come, and if they did, they wouldn't stop. Unless my phone's up. Thank you. Thank you. So if I'm able to catch it, I have to endure reckless driving that makes the ride uncomfortable and this repetitive braking, and nothing's repetitively done. So here's the braking and the reckless driving again. This is the bus. And then they threaten the police to enforce the crimes and say that they are putting me off and depriving me of services because I'm reporting crimes. So I'm standing up and she's just braking for nothing. Here's my stop, ma'am. I pushed the button. I pushed the button. You're speeding. I'm sorry? I just didn't understand why a bus driver would speed up when they're coming to a bus stop. I thought that would be considered driving reckless. Yeah, was I at your house?
I thought you was.
I saw you looking at me on the bus and holding up those seats.
You look just like another girl.
Oh, okay. I look like a lot of people. Let's see how this traffic works. Oh, no. I wasn't at your house. All these distractions all over the place. No, and you'd never believe it. You can see how he was stalking me on the bus. I'm talking to my friend. So, like the other girl, the weird lady the other day, it wouldn't record her, it muffled her. She was telling me I wasn't going to get housed. She didn't think it was going to happen because how Dallas don't have any housing, and it's almost impossible to get housing in Dallas or get shelter. It wouldn't record it. And they used to distort my sound all the time. I don't know why they're turning now. No, they come speed in this direction, but I'm recording, so now they're turning. Because when you see pedestrians, you're supposed to get over. But when it's playing, they don't. This one is turning to again. Guarded. It's not on purpose. So if I get in, which I have to be on the edge of my seat to know, because I know law enforcement's behind my shelter, they have to approve it. Then whenever they're mad, they just put me out. If it's time for it looks like I'm going to get on my feet and actually get in the homelessness, they just put me out and have me start all over again. And blacklist me from shelter, try to wipe out my savings, and then start the scam all over again. I've lost 2 vehicles that I know that when I was in this process, and mysterious issues with vehicles before that I couldn't explain. Windows busted out, all kinds of strange things going on with vehicles when I didn't know I was involved in this. So in the past, I used to pay cash. They had the blinkers on until they saw me picking up my phone. Just hazard lights on in the way. And then when they saw my phone, they started backing back. The time is now 8:40. They told me to be here by 9. So I don't know what I was saying, so nothing. So nothing has happened here, period. In fact, I have a recording where Miss Jackson said that I was welcome to come back. They banned me for someone pushing me and them not following protocol. They put me out because someone pushed me trying to get to my bed. The same person he just spit. The same person that told the dark woman that cursed me out not to give me route information, and she didn't. Fleeing for my life. So apparently getting threatened, they don't tolerate that at Austin Street. And I got put out over it. Asking for a cookie in the food line, looking both directions to see if someone was coming, I got put out. No reason in the bathroom alone, trying to put on makeup and get dressed nice. Now I don't care. It's not safe. So in the kite, I asked Frank Crowley, because they kept covering up for the false arrest. This was the last time. I guess this was the straw that breaks the camel's back. In the kite, I said, well, is it 30 false arrests that breaks the camel's back? 100? 3,000. I said, how many false arrests will have you guys abide by the law? What will it take for it to be the straw that broke the camel's back? That's what I said in the kite. So I guess, after that, I sent that kite. Frank Crowley eventually let me out. But I stayed in there because I was blacklisted from our shelter. I don't even know why I was in jail. I never went to court. So anyway, they told me I was mentally ill, and they set up for me to go to the living room. The living room saw that I was getting Social Security. And I said, they won't give it to me. They keep playing games. Security keeps coming, removing me when I try to find out what's going on with my Social Security. She said, okay, I'll check. She came back and said, you need to leave. We set you up for Salvation Army, even though the court ordered for me to come there. And they never gave me services again, and I never found out what was going on with the Social Security. So since then, I guess Frank Crowley said they're done covering for these police, and if they get themselves in another miss, they had to fend for themselves, and they were on their own. So they just use intimidation and bullying to enforce crimes now. I was told to go in for intake. Oh, okay. So I asked security, how do they know? Do you sign in, or how do they know who's next? And he said, if you want to go outside. So I asked them how, because there's a lot of people sitting here. So I guess you just sit here, and I don't know how option would be to go outside if I'm asking if I sign in. I'm just confused about how he said he don't know and works here, and how going outside I can do intake. It's 8:51. Okay, it was hard. A lot of people didn't know, even security. So I went to the Welcome Center, and he said that they just come out, and that's how they do the intake. So it's going to be difficult here because the lady that terrorized me at Dallas Behavioral, and the police cover for it and wouldn't take the report, lives here. She's been gang stalking me and terrorizing me ever since 2019, even in tent communities. She threw her drink in my face and everything, degraded me, mistreated me, did the sudden movements, all of it on camera footage, and nothing was done. In addition to that, threatened me. I just saw police driving by. The time is now 8:59, and I just saw the police. Intake's at 9. Just reeks the urine right here. You smell it? You smell the urine smell?
Yeah.
You smell the urine smell? It just reeks the urine right here. Reeks of urine. You smell urine. You can't smell it? As loud as that is? Wow, I do. It's 9:05. They haven't started intake yet. And I just saw police. They get to come and tell these people what they're going to do to scheme that I don't get services, which is a crime. And keep in mind, the abuse was so extreme, they did this with food and water purchases. Some days I could not eat. So keep in mind, there's people with badges and guns having people do this, so they comply, even churches. And family members, ones you've actually birthed to. It's not on 9. You still don't have intake. So when they did the school evacuation, and I realized that the chaos was too extreme, that prompted me to go to Louisiana and see the stalker. And then that's when they did the criminal trespass, and that's a video that he has circulating. But I just couldn't fathom that someone would shut a bus stop that I was down at 3 or 4 hours trying to get to a domestic violence organization down, and then still be free. So I went down there because my life was in jeopardy and I couldn't get law enforcement. So a familiar face that came in, she used to terrorize me. She used to tell me that I couldn't talk to people, sit down and be quiet and shut up. So it's a lot of, oh no, that's not her. This is the lady that came the other day that waited on me and then walked off. How you doing? So while I'm doing this commentary, I have a distraction. So the lady, her name was Wendy, and she would tell me that I couldn't talk to people and sit down and go to my bunk or I'd get put out, and not to talk to anyone. This is how I was treated, under the radar, and there was nothing I can do about it. She wants to talk again. But each time that I tried to talk to her the other day, she walked off when I came to it in her direction. It's 9:14. We still haven't had intake. I used to absolutely adore the chapel service. So I get in there and hear the sermons and hear the music. I loved it. So some kind of mysterious way, the chapel got shut down. They said that it was something with the batteries for the alarm system. No one could have church service. So there was a lady that gave resources and help. For some reason, there was a misunderstanding, and when I asked for resources and help, security was called, and I was removed. She was over the chapel services in 2019. It is now 9:17, and we are still waiting on intake. The only reason why I'm saying that maybe you should be alarmed, this happened before COVID, under the radar. I'm not saying they're connected. I'm just saying if you see someone repetitively getting violated, it should be reported. No one, whether they have badges or not, should have a free reign of terror to terrorize someone year after year for profit. Especially if they have badges and guns. They don't have time all the time to change. Loose theory. They don't, it's not on my schedule. They lied. They do the living room. They didn't want me to know they go here. They don't go to these locations for me. But they don't have time to manipulate all of the schedules in all my environments. And they forgot about this one. So when I'm riding connector with the 3 security, they're very particular. I get on, they go straight to Stew Pod and drop me off or either the bridge. Those are they don't let me see the route and they won't tell me the truth. And if you can remember, this is an abusive psycho that's doing this. This isn't Barack Obama or this is abusive psycho from a horror movie that is doing this and repetitively keep getting away with it. 9:24. And no intake yet. Okay, I'm seeing familiar faces and it's bringing a lot of pain and suffering because in addition to being in these environments, they're enlisted to be part of psychological abuse and damage and torment. So these faces remind me of how I got mistreated and violated and how they yell at me, degrade me, and I had to endure it to the extreme of telling me that if I talked to anyone, I would get put out of the shelter. To the extreme of putting me out when I got threatened and not protecting me in their environment. Not only getting threatened, but put her hands on me and almost made me fall on the floor on camera footage. 9:27. I ask questions about the process and no one knows. The option he gave me is going outside. These schemes show years of preparation and control over my life and controlling a massive amount of environments to an extreme. Yearly unaddressed. So Greyhound, where I used to flee, go charge, and use the bathroom when they put me out in schemes and I was blacklisted everywhere else, has changed the whole protocol and TP. They demand to see your ticket first thing, and now Greyhound, you can't even get in there. You have to have a ticket to get in there, they told me, and then when they got caught in that, then they scammed this. You have to go through security to use the restrooms, get food, and charge. It's guarded. Everything has changed upon my abusive crisis. 9:31, still no intake. So when this all began, they were arrogant, and the police came out personally to churches and different environments. They would come out personally with schemes. Now that I'm recording, they're incriminating the staff so they don't get their charges. So they scam behind the scenes, so I'm still denied services. But they used to come out personally. They wanted me to know I was getting violated, and they would criminal trespass multiple a day. So if you recall, our calling line was held up, knowing you wouldn't believe it. If the store's lines are held up, knowing you wouldn't believe it. 9:36, sitting at the edge of my seat. Police are here. So typically, when it's my life, you don't have a choice. It's enforced. Everything is monitored, and it's up to them if they decide to let me in the shelter, because they're controlling my life and haven't had consequences. So we have to see what they decide. It's not by chance. It's controlled. So just a little commentary. So I'm sitting at the edge of my seat, waiting in environments that I know my abuser's controlling. It's not by chance, like I said. So I have to sit here and see if my psycho abuser is going to let me get shelter today. In every environment that I'm going into. If he's going to let me get transit that day. If he's going to let me get food that day. If he's going to let me talk to my family that day. And I'll upload the videos later. The sponsor from the support group has not contacted me back. If he's going to let me meet new people that day. If I can get my calls that day. I have to just see what they're willing to let me to do, how they're going, what they're going to allow in my life, year after year. Are they going to let me eat? Or are they going to let me catch the bus with bus passes? He said stop talking. I don't know what that was about. They did say stop talking or you get put out. I couldn't talk to anyone, male or female.
Hey, lady.
You threatened me the other day, and now you're saying, "Hey, lady."
No, I didn't.
You cursed me out. Oh, at our calling?
Yeah.
Okay, you were playing with me. I don't think cursing someone out is playing. And then you caught trying to flag down security. And there's so many schemes to keep me from services and interruptions that people wouldn't believe. 9:39, 40 minutes. My abuser wanted me to know at domestic violence prevention who was running the show. So when I left to go report him, they put my stuff outside in the box and I was no longer welcome there. I have to just wait and see if they're going to allow medical treatment. Just wait and see. Wait and see if they'll let me catch the church bus. Church bus. That's controlled too. They may not come. So, regarding the incident of the person that threatened me, well, he didn't threaten me, but he cursed me out and then flagged down security. No, they really used to put me out in these schemes. I got pushed and shoved and almost fell on the ground, and they put me out over it. Trying to get them to help me for this lady bullying me, trying to go to my bed. Then they blacklisted me from all those shelters that the bus no longer goes to. I don't know what was wrong with those, why they kept going off like that. So getting the help in the past, I was arrested and assaulted at New Beginnings. When I wasn't recording, I was arrested at Texas Rangers trying to get help. Pushed and shoved at Frank Crowley trying to get help and removed. Given multiple criminal trespasses at Frank Crowley trying to get help. DA, Family Violence and Child Abuse Division. Removed by police at the George Allen building for trying to get a protection order. Removed, pushed and shoved by police at Supot. Removed at the bridge by security, pushed and shoved trying to get help. Arrested in Grand Prairie calling for help on my phone and detained. Arrested at the convention center trying to report a theft. Arrested at the Bachman station trying to eat food at racetrack. Arrested in Dangerfield trying to report that my card kept malfunctioning in critical times and I couldn't use it. Arrested at Dark trying to catch the bus and for trying to do a complaint. Arrested at CPS trying to report child abuse. Detained by South Central Patrol trying to report child abuse as well. And taken, that was where the video as they did the report, they claimed and had me go to the house that they no longer lived at, and then detained me and took me to Dallas Behavioral, and the report is nowhere to be found of interference with child custody crimes. So multiple times the police department has been enforcing the interference with child custody for profit with multiple children. 950 and no intake. I just saw the connector. I was told it didn't run on the weekends. I had so much going on, I didn't realize today was Monday. The time is now 10 o'clock, an hour. In fact, years in prearranged environments trying to see if they're going to allow me to have services. People I'm trying to flee from are controlling my experiences. So let's see what happens. Police came, gave me a criminal trespass at my son's school. I'm just giving you this as I remember, to enforce interference with child, legal custodial child. They would not enforce the custody agreement, period. Itasca police arrested me for trying to report Marion County police. Deputy Dude was setting me up, because I asked him to do a welfare check so I can pick him up because they had been withholding him, and he's tried to set me up. So I called Itasca police so I can interrupt that, and because he said things that I wasn't saying and said he was going to put charges on me the next day. I called Itasca police trying to report it. They arrested me, lied, and said I assaulted him and evaded arrest and got violated and mistreated in jail. To the degree to where police came and investigated the jail. They hid my bond and got caught in it. Now they make a lot of things disappear. I don't know if they made that disappear too. Now, how many people do you know that someone had to call the police on Joe's death? They were crying and panicking. They tortured me. It says right there 11 a.m. Right there. I was told 9. So I don't know if what they're going to do is just have me wait here to 9 for the bond games. I mean, they told me to be here at 9. So I don't know if they're just going to have me wait until 11 for the bond games. Here's the connector. And here's Salvation Army, VA, Lusteric, Justice Center, and Living Room, Dallas Peace Project. All of that they did not want me to know they went to and controlled. And lied and said they don't go there. Blatantly lied, like a whole bunch of other environments. So keep in mind, I'm not targeted. I have talked to multiple people that did not know there's a welcome center right here. He did not tell me intake started at 11. I was told to be here at 9. I had to read the billboard, the little sign that they have, to see that it started at 11.
Hey.
So that apartment was a hindrance because someone's getting a high off this torture campaign. So I could hide out in that apartment, and when, you know, I had a car and wasn't getting violated on dark. So that needed to be interrupted so this party could get their high off of the abuse and torture that they enjoy. I think he's a voyeur, and that means taking. It happens all the time when I'm talking all kinds of distractions. Taking pleasure in the pain and suffering of another individual. 2 different environments filled with furniture. So the second one I wouldn't really fix up, and that was a controlled environment. That was strange. But the other one, you know, a lot of furniture from years, all gone. Some sentimental things that were my mother, she's deceased. Pictures, I would estimate the value of around $10,000 for everything that was lost. Priceless photos and schemes. Lost everything. Twice. Multiple cars, unaddressed, no lawsuits. They just go behind me and have all attorneys, legal representation, even that legal aids deny me assistance. I'm currently being stalked by the lady that accidentally bumped me and said, I'm sorry. Stalking's a crime, but absolutely no charges. I mean, when you're looking to interrupt someone and bump them and waiting for it, it kind of happens. That camera's, you can see the lady right in front of the camera. Like when I got pushed and shoved and then put out. Police again. The time is now 10:20. My bag knocked down by a man that was making sudden movements. I mean, there's a lot of people lashing out at this bag with all my worldly possessions. It's only a suitcase. Now I know full-blown well, this is the man that's talking in the background. I know full-blown well, a billionaire is not threatened by just me just having this. That's all I can have, and they don't even want me having this. Multiple cars, multiple environments with everything I own unaddressed. This right here, this is a threat. This right here is a threat. And what I have on the card, the funds I have on the card. I don't understand why this man that was blocking my making sudden movements and keep interrupting me is over here by security, and security's not having him move. All his bags over here by me. I would have thought that he would tell him to get out the way. He kind of moved. So for 5 years, all the shelter, all of it, with every place I went was denied. I don't know how I got the job, why they let me get the job, but you see how that ended. I'm just trying to interrupt this pattern. So I'm thankful this monitor is giving me answers with all the information on it. They eventually start controlling those when I'm in the environment. Salvation Army, here we go again with this. Salvation Army, I saw Avis tearing things down from the bulletin. Oh, it's the pattern. I don't know. It's weird. But Salvation Army tore down things on the bulletin when I was looking at it. She just came in. Someone distracted me, and I saw her going in there tearing things down from the billboard. knowing you'd never believe someone was able to abuse this much power. So I can't record it, but the man that knocked down my bag and was making sudden movements is over here close to security, blocking that area. I just would have thought that security would have said something. Our calling is here. I don't understand because they said they don't help you get shelter. It wasn't near me. I don't know what's happening. They used to have someone in domestic violence. They're staffed. They claim that they have eliminated that position, and now they just have care ministers, which are not honest to me. I'm just telling you the truth. They have not been honest. That I